Social Security is tracking your travel. They're monitoring retirees through Homeland Security databases. They're coming for your benefits. You've probably seen these headlines. Maybe a friend sent you a video. Maybe you're panicking right now. Here's the truth. Most of this is completely wrong. But there's a small group of people who absolutely need to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly who that is, what's really happening, and what you need to do about it. Let's get into it. Now, before I break this down, let me tell you why this matters more than you think. The Social Security Administration just released a policy update on January 2nd that's creating mass confusion. I've read the entire 20,000 plus pages of the Program Operations Manual system. When I worked at Social Security, I went through the whole thing. And what I'm seeing online right now is pure misinformation. The problem? Most of these channels don't understand the difference between the different Social Security programs. They're mixing things up and scaring people who have nothing to worry about. So here's what we're going to cover. What the new policy actually says. Who this affects and who it absolutely does not affect. The difference between SSI and other Social Security programs. What the government can and cannot track about you. And one unprecedented situation that should make everyone pay attention. Stay with me because this is going to save you a lot of stress. What the policy really says. The Social Security Administration updated their policy instructions to expand the use of something called FTD. That stands for Foreign Travel Data. Here's the exact language. They're using foreign travel data for citizens for redeterminations and during initial claims before SSI payments are made in certain situations, and non-citizens during initial claims before SSI payments are made in all cases. Now, did you catch that key word? This is where the confusion explodes. The biggest misunderstanding in Social Security. SSI does not stand for Social Security Income. That's what most people think, and they're wrong. SSI stands for Supplemental Security Income. It's a completely different program. Let me break this down in a way that makes sense. Social Security retirement benefits. Based on your work history. Funded by payroll taxes you paid during your career. Available to people who worked and earned credits. Not a welfare program. SSI, Supplemental Security Income. A needs-based welfare program. For people with low income and low resources. Resource limits, $2,000 if single, $3,000 if married. Maximum benefit for 2026, $994 per month. Funded by general tax revenue, not the Social Security Trust Fund. Available to people who are disabled, blind, or age 65 and older. A quick history lesson. Social Security started in 1935 under President Franklin Roosevelt. It was designed as a retirement insurance program based on work history. SSI came much later. In the early 1970s, under President Nixon, the federal government consolidated a bunch of different state welfare programs into one national program. They said, who already has offices throughout the country? Who already processes benefit payments? Who already has systems for determining disability? The answer was the Social Security Administration. So SSA got put in charge of SSI even though it's a fundamentally different kind of program. Same agency, completely different rules, completely different funding, completely different philosophy. This is why the confusion exists. Both programs are administered by the Social Security Administration, but they operate under entirely different sets of rules. These are two completely separate things. And here's why that matters for the travel tracking conversation. The SSI travel rule has existed for decades. If you receive SSI benefits, you have always had reporting responsibilities. This isn't new. When you apply for SSI, you agree to certain conditions because it's a needs-based program funded by taxpayer dollars. Your reporting responsibilities include changes in income, changes in living situation, changes in marital status, lottery winnings or inheritances, getting a job, and yes, international travel. Here's the rule that's been in place. If you're on SSI and you leave the United States for more than 30 consecutive days, your benefits stop. They don't resume until you've been back in the country for at least 30 days. So what changed? What changed is that the Social Security Administration is now using data from the Department of Homeland Security to verify whether SSI recipients are actually in the country. Previously, they relied on self-reporting. The problem? Some people weren't reporting their travel. They'd leave the country for months, keep collecting benefits, and nobody knew. A report from the Office of Inspector General found that an estimated 35,000 SSI recipients received approximately $152 million in payments they weren't eligible for because of unreported absences from the United States. That was just in a 2-year period. And here's the kicker. If they had analyzed travel data for all SSI recipients, they estimated they could have identified an additional $289 million in overpayments. One example from the report: an SSI recipient was outside the United States for longer than 6 months but didn't report it. If SSA had received travel data from DHS instead of relying on self-reporting, they would have caught the overpayment of at least $5,000 much sooner. The Inspector General had been recommending this data sharing for years. The SSA was finally able to work through the legal and technical challenges to make it happen. Why this is actually a good thing? Think about it from a program integrity standpoint. SSI is a welfare program designed for people who are in the United States, have low income, and have low resources. If someone can afford to travel internationally for extended periods, the program needs to verify they still qualify. This isn't about punishing people. It's about making sure benefits go to the people who actually need them. Now here's the part that should calm most of you down. If you receive any of the following benefits, this travel tracking policy does not apply to you. Social Security retirement benefits, based on your work history. SSDI, Social Security Disability Insurance, based on your work history. Survivor benefits, based on a deceased worker's record. Spouse benefits, based on your spouse's work record. Divorced spouse benefits, based on your ex-spouse work record. Surviving divorced spouse benefits, based on a deceased ex-spouse record. If you're getting any of these benefits and you want to travel overseas, go ahead. Take that vacation to Portugal. Visit family in the Philippines. Retire on the beaches of Panama. The Social Security Administration does not care. They're not tracking you. Your benefits will keep coming. The only travel restrictions for regular Social Security benefits. There are only a few countries where the U.S. Treasury Department won't send payments. Cuba. North Korea. If you're a U.S. citizen and you decide to vacation in North Korea for 6 months for some reason, you won't get checks while you're there. But here's the thing. Once you return to a country where payments can be sent, you'll get all those withheld payments. There are also a handful of other countries with restrictions, including Azerbaijan, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. In these countries, you may need to appear at a U.S. embassy every 6 months to verify your eligibility. But for 99% of countries, you're fine. Travel wherever you want. But I heard Social Security is monitoring my bank account. Same story. Different misunderstanding. A few months ago, the internet exploded with claims that Social Security was going to start monitoring everyone's bank accounts. People were panicking. Here's the truth. If you receive SSI, yes, Social Security can access your financial information. Why? Because SSI is a needs-based program. When you apply, you give them permission to verify your resources. You have to prove you have less than $2,000 in resources, or $3,000 if married. If you suddenly inherit $50,000 from a long-lost uncle, you need to report that. If you win the lottery, you need to report that. And if you don't report it, Social Security has the right to check. But here's what's not happening. If you receive Social Security retirement benefits, SSDI, survivor benefits, or any other work-based Social Security benefit, they are not monitoring your bank account. They are not tracking your spending. They are not checking how much you spent at Amazon last week. Your benefits are based on your work history, not your current financial situation. Your bank balance is irrelevant. Now there's one caveat. If you're working while receiving early retirement benefits before full retirement age, your earnings can affect your benefits. In 2026, if you earn more than $24,480 and you're under full retirement age, Social Security reduces your benefits by $1 for every $2 over that limit. But that's about earnings from work, not your bank account balance. Why Social Security wants to know if you live overseas. Now, even though the government isn't tracking retirees right now, there's a reason they might consider it in the future. Here's the situation. When someone receiving Social Security dies in the United States, the system works pretty smoothly. The funeral home notifies Social Security. Social Security notifies the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department stops the payments. But when someone dies overseas, it's a different story. If you've notified Social Security that you live overseas, they'll send you a proof of life form once a year, sometimes every 6 months. You fill it out, send it back, and they know you're still alive. Recently, they even changed the policy so you can do this verification over the phone by calling a federal benefits unit at an embassy or consulate, or by calling the National Social Security number. But here's the problem. Not everyone notifies Social Security that they've moved overseas. And if they don't, Social Security might keep sending checks long after someone has passed away. The future consideration. The policy document includes a note that says the foreign travel data application is not yet available for RSDI, that's retirement, survivors, and disability insurance. But it also says they will expand the functionality of the FDD application in future system releases. What does that mean? Potentially, Social Security could eventually track travel for everyone, not just SSI recipients. Now, is that necessarily a bad thing? From a program integrity standpoint, it could help identify people who move overseas and don't notify Social Security. It could reduce overpayments to deceased beneficiaries. It could save the program money. From a privacy standpoint, some people might have concerns about the government tracking their international travel. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Now here's something that should actually get your attention. I said at the beginning there's one thing that's unprecedented in Social Security's 90-year history. Here it is. The current Commissioner of Social Security, Frank Bisignano, was confirmed by the Senate in May 2025. He came from the private sector where he was CEO of Fiserv, a massive financial services and payment technology company. In October 2025, something happened that has never happened before in Social Security's history. The Treasury Department announced that Bisignano would also serve as the CEO of the Internal Revenue Service, a newly created position. Let me say that again, the same person now runs both the Social Security Administration and the IRS. Why this matters? The Social Security Administration manages benefits for over 70 million Americans. The IRS collects about $5.1 trillion in tax revenue annually. These are two of the largest, most data-rich agencies in the federal government. Until now, there have been legal and practical barriers between these agencies. Your Social Security data and your IRS data were kept separate, managed by different leadership with different access controls. Now, the same person sits at the top of both. Some policy experts have raised concerns about data sharing between these agencies. Others point to potential conflicts of interest. Advocacy groups have called it unprecedented and unwise. The SSA has historically been protective of its beneficiary data. The IRS has its own privacy protections around taxpayer information. With one person overseeing both, the lines become blurrier. I'm not going to go down conspiracy rabbit holes. But this is worth watching. This is worth paying attention to. What you should actually do. Let's get practical. Based on what we've covered, here's what you need to know. If you receive SSI, understand that travel tracking applies to you. If you travel internationally, trips under 30 days are generally fine. If you need to travel for more than 30 days, family emergency, funeral, etc., contact Social Security before you leave. Know that your benefits will stop after 30 days abroad and won't resume until you've been back for 30 days. Understand that your financial information may be monitored. This is part of the program design, not something new or nefarious. Keep documentation of all your travel dates in case questions arise later. If you're thinking about applying for SSI, know that this travel tracking will apply to you. Understand the reporting requirements before you apply. Be prepared to give Social Security permission to access your financial records. This isn't optional. It's a condition of receiving benefits. If you receive regular Social Security benefits, travel wherever you want except the restricted countries. If you move overseas permanently, notify Social Security. Keep your address updated so you receive important correspondence. If living overseas, respond to proof of life forms when you receive them. Your benefits are based on your work history, not your current finances. For everyone, verify information at ssa.gov before panicking. The Program Operations Manual System, POMS, is publicly available if you want to read the actual policies. Don't believe everything you see online, especially if it doesn't distinguish between SSI and regular Social Security. While we're here, mistakes to avoid. Since we're on the topic, let me share some common mistakes I see people make with Social Security. Mistake number 1, claiming too early without understanding the math. Every year you delay claiming between 62 and 70, your benefit grows by about 6 to 8% per year. That's guaranteed. No investment gives you that kind of guaranteed return. If you claim at 62 instead of 70, you could be leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table over your lifetime. Mistake number 2, not knowing about spousal and survivor benefits. If you were married for at least 10 years and divorced, you may be entitled to benefits based on your ex-spouse record. This doesn't affect their benefits at all. Many people don't know this exists. Mistake number 3, Assuming Social Security will contact you. Social Security won't call you when you become eligible for benefits. You have to apply. Some people miss out on months or even years of benefits because they didn't know they needed to take action. Mistake number 4. Not checking your earnings record. Your benefits are calculated based on your 35 highest earning years. If there's an error in your earnings record, your benefit could be lower than it should be. Create a My Social Security account at ssa.gov and check your record. Mistake number 5. Confusing SSI and SSDI. As we've discussed extensively, these are different programs. If you apply for the wrong one, you could waste months in the process. While we're here, programs you might not know about. Since we're talking about Social Security, let me mention some related programs that could help if you're on a fixed income. Medicare savings programs. If your income is low enough, your state may pay your Medicare Part B premium, which is $202.90 per month in 2026. Some programs also help with deductibles and co-payments. Extra Help, Low-Income Subsidy. This program helps pay for Medicare prescription drug costs. If you qualify, you could save thousands of dollars per year. Medicaid. Each state runs its own Medicaid program. If you receive SSI, you're automatically eligible for Medicaid in most states. Even if you don't receive SSI, you may qualify based on income. SNAP food stamps. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program can help with grocery costs. LIHEAP. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program helps with heating and cooling costs. The Point. Many people qualify for these programs but don't know about them or don't apply. If you're living on Social Security alone and struggling, don't assume you can't get help. Check your eligibility. Quick 2026 update. Since we're talking about Social Security benefits, let me give you the 2026 numbers. Cost of living adjustment, COLA 2.8%. Nearly 71 million Social Security beneficiaries will see this increase starting in January 2026. SSI recipients saw their increased payments starting December 31, 2025. New benefit amounts. SSI maximum, individual $994 per month, up from $967. SSI maximum, couple $1,491 per month, up from $1,450. Average retirement benefit, approximately $2,071 per month. Maximum retirement benefit at full retirement age, $4,152 per month. Maximum benefit at age 70, $5,181 per month. Medicare Part B premium, $202.90 per month. This is an increase from $185 in 2025. Since most people pay this out of their Social Security check, it effectively reduces the COLA increase. Earnings limits. Under full retirement age, $24,480 per year, then $1 reduction for every $2 earned over the limit. Year of full retirement age, $65,160 per year, then $1 reduction for every $3 earned until the month you reach FRA. After full retirement age, no limit. SSI resource limits, unchanged. Individual, $2,000. Couple, $3,000. These resource limits haven't been updated in decades, which is a whole other problem. But that's a topic for another video. Answering your questions. I received a question from Martha in San Antonio, Texas. She's been having trouble getting survivor benefits. Martha tried to get survivor benefits in her early 60s and was told to wait until 65. Then at 65, she was in a car accident and bedridden. Now at 72, she was told she's making more than her husband did. Here's what's likely happening, Martha. First, survivor benefits can actually start at age 60, not 62 like retirement benefits. So that initial guidance may have been related to a work issue. If you were earning over the annual limit, which was lower back then, your benefits would have been reduced. At 65, which was likely your full retirement age, work no longer affects your benefits. So if you filed then and were told your own benefit was higher, that's actually good news in a way. It means you get the higher amount. But here's what to check. You mentioned $700. That might be after Medicare is deducted. The Medicare premium in 2026 is $202.90, so if your check says $700, your actual benefit might be around $900. If your total benefit is under $994, you might qualify for SSI to make up the difference. For example, if you get $700, SSI could potentially add $294 to bring you to the maximum. Also check your eligibility for Medicaid in Texas. It's called Star Health. If you qualify for SSI, You're usually automatically eligible for Medicaid, which can help with medical costs. And look into Medicare savings programs. If you qualify, Texas might pay your Medicare Part B premium. The bottom line. Here's what I need you to remember from this video. The new travel tracking policy applies to SSI recipients, not regular Social Security beneficiaries. Most of you can stop worrying right now. SSI is a welfare program with resource limits and reporting requirements. That's by design. It's always been that way. The only change is that now they're using data to verify what people should have been self-reporting all along. If you receive retirement benefits, SSDI or survivor benefits, travel wherever you want. Your benefits will keep coming. Nobody is tracking your vacation to Europe. The bank account monitoring applies only to SSI. If you're on regular Social Security, nobody is looking at your spending. The one person running both Social Security and the IRS is unprecedented. Whether that concerns you or not, it's worth being aware of and worth watching in the coming months. Stop letting online misinformation stress you out. Those videos get views by making you scared. Fear drives engagement. That's how it works. Instead, go to ssa.gov. Read the actual policies. Create a My Social Security account. And if you have questions, call the national number at 1-800-772-1213. One more thing. If this video helped you, I need you to do something for me. Share it with someone who's been panicking about this stuff. Share it in your Facebook groups. Send it to your parents or grandparents who might have seen the scary headlines. The best way to fight misinformation is with accurate information. And now you have it. See you in the next one.